Hello, no one. Xana here with a new video today. I'm sure just about all of us have heard about the situation sending ripples through most of the art community lately. If you haven't heard about it, the cliff notes are that an art YouTuber by the name of Holly Brown posted a picture on Twitter recently that contained a portion of a sketch with an obviously traced bit and responded by explaining she will trace to figure things out or figure out composition, and posted that particular image on accident. In her video, she alternates between terms tracing and referencing in an interesting way. But at the end of the day, I really enjoy her videos, and I don't think she should be burned at the proverbial stake for this mishap. For all the value she's added to the art community, Holly Brown has and continues to be an asset. With that out of the way, let's talk about tracing and reference. Now, I'm a big fan of definitions, so let's grab the definition of tracing. To copy a drawing, map, or design made by tracing it. And then it said this was another term for trace, so just to be thorough, I went ahead and searched trace. To copy a drawing, map, or design by drawing over its lines on a superimposed piece of transparent paper. And then we look up reference, the action of mentioning or alluding to something. And then of course, just to be thorough on this side as well, I googled art reference definition and found photo referencing in visual art is the practice of creating art based on a photograph. Now, it's important to note for the sake of this discussion that the particular wiki page for photo referencing also mentions using a light box as an aid in photo referencing, so the line gets a bit blurry in that instance. I think in general we can agree that tracing is the act of drawing directly on top of another work, whereas photo referencing will have the referenced object to the side or in front of the artist's work. So, does that make tracing inherently bad? My answer, no. Just like my dad told me about using cuss words when I was 11, there's a time and a place for everything. For example, I've taken some of my favorite pictures of my dog here, Archer, and I'm using these images to find key shapes that make him so darn cute. This is a widely used and extremely helpful technique for not just Archer, but for buildings and finding perspective, for gesture drawing study, for hands and feet study, but for most of the things I listed, they're just that, for study. That, I think, is where we can draw the line where tracing becomes bad. Tracing becomes a negative thing when an artist passes off work as their own, or even becomes too reliant on tracing to be able to go back to just referencing images to create their own work. I think that tracing really is a crutch when it comes down to it. An artist that relies on tracing is cheating themselves out of their own talent. I personally have always had a bit of a vendetta with tracing because, one, I've never been very good at it. I don't know how I've managed that. But my second point is that I had a situation when I was younger that I less than tactfully called out a friend for presenting traced artwork as her own, and had even found the original piece that she had traced from. This scenario happened when I was in early high school, and it shattered our friendship. I think back to it and I'm still heartbroken about it because she was truly one of my best friends, and we've never been able to mend that. I still wish to this day I would have handled it more carefully. I feel like 90% of people that might trace are actually like my friend was, and just like the rest of us, not malicious and just desperate to be better at art. I know too often I find myself scrolling through Instagram looking longingly at other artists before crying myself to sleep and dreaming extensively that I'm Caravaggio. But that can't just be me. Seriously though, Caravaggio lived 38 fast and hard years. He was like the 16th century Biebs, I'm telling you. Look it up. In my own opinion, a traced work should never be presented as a final piece. Now, Maybe if we're splitting hairs in a situation like Holly Brown's, where we can clearly see that she posted a rough sketch with a bit that was traced, she might have explained that it was an unfinished piece and maybe even posted the trace screenshot along with the sketch. I think this could have even opened up a constructive forum where her followers might have even been able to offer advice on the angle of the traced portion for when she decided to redraw it herself. Hindsight is 20/20, as they say. However, like we've also said before, a failure is still a valuable learning experience, and we can all learn from this situation. Before I did these studies of Archer, I had no clue how to wrap my head around his shapes, and within 20 minutes, I was really able to gain some ground. Of course, I did a similar study of my other pup, Mal, and the first free sketch turned out like a fat cermet, but I think I captured some of his likeness in the second sketch. To wrap this video up today, no, I don't think that tracing is always bad, but use sparingly and just keep arting. If you found this video helpful or mildly entertaining, please consider clicking the like button and subscribing for more. As always, let's take each day, each study, and every reference one at a time. Bye!